Aloha. Got it. Aloha nui mai no kako e na Hawaii. O vono ke ia o Kapūkākī. I'm super stoked to have you guys. My name is Kapūkākī, and I teach Hawaiian at UH, elementary Hawaiian on the college level. So mahalo nui for joining the call to incorporate Aloha ʻāina in our content. That's our responsibility. I'm here to let us know that we're indebted to the ʻāina that we occupy, that we stay in, and that we descend from. So I know you guys already, are on board with that. I just want to give you guys the mahalo for first answering the call. So we'll take a look at a deep dive, and really very similar to Kapua's presentation. Check that out if you guys didn't get a chance to. I really want to share with us different kind of curriculum and content that we can use in any kind of language class, and it's all focused on Hawaii or even like other lands, other ʻāina. We always want to be contributing to whatever land that we're nourished in or that our ancestors were nourished in. So it's that like reciprocity with ʻāina, and we're going to look at that kind of thing. What is ʻāina? But just kind of simple things that I'm still inspired from Kapua's presentation is like simple things like looking at the meaning of our place names and using that in our own language classes. Like if we're in white people, what does that mean? And then use that in your Spanish class or your Japanese class or Mandarin class, whatever law, because that's grounding us in place. And those meanings of the names is showing us our role in our place, right? It's showing us our resources and our histories and how we're supposed to act. Because these life ways, ancestral life ways, are directions for us, yeah, guys, on what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be upholding the cycle of the balances of life. Yeah. So even I really liked, there was a Japanese teacher who made the connection with mo'o and kappa, or like the dragon people. That's super cool. And I got a big shout out to Kumu Kevin, even before I start my slideshow, because he's super on it. He translated a Hawaiian chant, e homai, into Spanish for Hawaiian Language Month, which also happened to be Spanish Language Month. And then the kids all lead it. Kumatuti just told me just now, they all lead in Hawaiian and Spanish for Spanish class. And then they were doing it in the Hawaiian class. So that's next level. I know Kevin's next level, but just like follow suit. Yeah, follow suit. And just like small ways we can incorporate things, simple things like place names. Yeah, he's crazy amazing. But simple things like place names and making connections, and whatever language we're doing in, we want to connect it to our Hawaiian life ways here, because this is where we all stay. And that's ultimately going to, I'm a really big picture person. It's ultimately going to uplift us all as people, because it's going to reestablish our roles as cultivators and stewards of our places. Yeah, so super cool. And we can start, yes, with the navaqueros. And we can start like, there's big picture things, and there's even super small things that we can start with, like just the meanings of names and where we are, stuff like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. And I'm gonna set this up. So mahalo again for joining us. And if anyone has any questions or wants any consultation or to bounce off ideas, I'm always willing to do that for any one of us here at this conference. Okay, you guys can see my screen, huh? Shoot. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at ha'awina aloha ʻāina, because we want to ask the question to ourselves, how are we, I love that email, the aloha oi in Tagalog. See, that's the kind of stuff we want to connect for our students and really for our own selves as people and communities, because these things are universally human. Songs, right? Food, the place where we're at, right? And yeah, and just the course, that's even perfect email, because start small, bro, start small. Okay, so you guys already sound like you guys have, are incorporating ha'awina aloha ʻāina, but ha'awina aloha ʻāina is what I'm gonna call aloha ʻāina content, aloha ʻāina curriculum. And this is our question: how are we giving back to our place? Kalame. And I'm gonna do the PFA, the PDF real fast, because then my GIFs aren't gonna move. So I am gonna do real fast my slideshow presentation. I never like do the slideshow because I can't see my notes, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, shoots. Okay, looking good. See now the bug moving, yeah? A little bit more better. Okay. All right. So for our Aloha ʻāina content, I want us to ask ourselves, does our content have substance, or are we talking about mindless accumulation? You know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about Bart the blue cat, who's just trying to buy one phone in Chicago, like we can do better than that. You know what I'm saying? And so I know you guys are already kind of like oriented to that because you came to this kind of stuff, but like, you know, the thing when people say, oh, let's teach culture, bro, we're always teaching culture. Is what kind of culture we're teaching. Are we teaching like mindless consumption, consumerism, raping, exploitation, or are we being contributors to our place? Yeah, that's the kind questions we like hold ourselves accountable for that, because that's really what we're seeding in our kids. Yeah, big kids, little kids, all kids. Okay, how am I like make this move? Okay, and so let's ask the question, why are we even trying to make sure there's substance in our curriculum? It's because we're indebted to our place. Why are we indebted to our place? We all eat, we all drink water, yeah, and we all need the heat from the sun, the wind, and, you know, the moonlight. Yeah, so these things make us indebted to our place. So we want to have a perspective, a mindset of reciprocity, right? We want to contribute to the health of that which contributes to our health. Yeah. Shoots, I know you guys are on board. Okay. All right. So what can reciprocity look like in Aloha? First, it's going to inevitably start with education of self, right? So I recommend this book right over here, Hawaii Story by Hawaii's Queen. That's a good start for us to find out, because we got to educate ourselves. We are a nation under occupation. It's a violent, continuing occupation. So let's be on the side of life and ally with our people by simple education. What went down, what's continuing to go down. So I recommend Lili'u's book. And part of reciprocity with place is simply understanding that ʻāina is ancestor. Yeah. And people come to our land and they think it's beautiful, it's banging, it's healthy. Bruh, the bugger not healthy, the bugger stay dying. We're struggling right here. The ʻāina is under attack. And so we want to just see that with lucidity and clarity, and then we can move forward. Yeah, we can take productive steps collectively and individually towards healing, towards reconciliation. Yeah. So ultimately, the allyship with our people is ultimately for reestablishment of original life ways. I know that seems very abstract. Let me give you an example. Original life ways, that's the re-implementation of food systems. So I have a list of places where we can go out to the ʻāina and help restore ʻāina, do some work days on the land. And ultimately it's for growing food. Yeah, because the way we grow food restores ecosystems. Our food systems restore ecosystems. This is in fact universally human. And I know it's a kind of deep dive right away in that whole, but I want to kind of plant that seed so we can focus on things like food systems, where we grow food in all lands in the original ways, because that's part of the reclamation of the life ways that are going to restore the life force of us as humans and ultimately of our environments. Yeah. And so reciprocity is also just intentional contribution to our communities. Yeah. I know we were giving choke shout outs to Kumu Kevin, very intentional about, you know, how we can simply give back to our place. Yeah. And align with our people. Okay, shoots, you guys are doing great. Okay, and we just want to understand that ʻāina creates the life force, the moliola in all things. Yeah. So because ʻāina contributes to our health, how are we contributing back to the health of the ʻāina? How can we? Let's look at some ways. I got a few. Oh, there's a sparkly girl. Okay, so we want to just be minded with intentional contribution to our communities again. And again, this could be simple as like observing our environment and becoming experts of our place. Yeah, every day. That's universally human. What does the sky look like? What's the celestial bodies, the weather going on, the seasons? And, you know, ultimately, these are all things we can incorporate into our language lessons, because we're seeding this information and ancestral knowledge in our youth. Okay, shoot, you guys are doing great. Okay, and then ultimately, big picture, ultimately, this is reclaiming our role as children of the land. Yeah, if we're children of the land, we can name our places, where we can name where we come from. Yeah, we can name what currently nourishes us, whatever lands we occupy. Yeah, so this is remembering our elder relations, which is all of creation. That's the ultimate foundation for my definition of Ha'awina Aloha ʻāina content. Okay, so just to break down real fast this word of what is ʻāina, a lot of people will translate the word as ʻāina as land, and I'm totally down with that definition. However, from my perspective, it's just not complete. Like, it just doesn't end there at land. ʻāina is really humans coming together with earth. ʻāina is a relationship of those two things. So you can see my graphic right here. So if it's an uninhabited land, it's not ʻāina yet. It's ʻāina when the humans are on the land cultivating abundance. That is ʻāina. And I got sources for that if you need, kamakau. And so with that, we realize that ʻāina is a relationship. So to aloha ʻāina, to love that relationship, is to uphold that relationship. And we know in all our relationship, upholding relationships takes work and reciprocity. So how can we uphold that relationship of humans cultivating abundance on earth? Okay. And then I'm just going to finish the term with the lahui aloha ʻāina. Lahui, we can do real superficial term as the nation. And so as a nation, and you know, Hawaiians and all our allies, you're welcome in the nation. As a nation, how are we upholding that balance of humans cultivating on earth? That is ʻāina. So that's kind of a deep dive we're going to take real fast. Okay, you guys are doing great. Okay, I'm really proud of this graphic. Please admire it. I know it's beautiful. So this is a list of some Aloha ʻāina work days. These are all places we can go out to the ʻāina and restore land, and you're welcome to screenshot it, or even if you have any questions, I can share with you what I know. Most of the places I hit up is Ko'olaupoka, but we got the Eva places, we got Wai'anae. So these are places, any district we're at, we can go to these places. They're restoring food systems right now. These are all community initiatives. Let's take part in the work. We're all indebted, remember guys, because we drink water. Yeah, we all eat. Okay, we can come back to that if we need to. Okay, and these are like even more work days. The left side is like all Wai'anae, and the right side is like one place in Hau'ula, and there's like Maui and Kauai. Okay, but we can come back to it if you guys need, because I want to make sure I stay on time. Okay, so I want to just introduce to us real fast food systems. Food systems are universal. Everyone eats. So our Hawaiian food systems actually improve our environment. How do they improve their environment? They improve the water quality. They maintain the water flow. We've seen the water quality improve in the places that we will restore ʻāina. So when we're growing food, we're not growing food with poisons, and we're not growing food just for ourselves. We're actually growing food for the rest of the ecosystem, all of creation. So these are, you know, profound aspects just from things like talking about like food prep, recipes, eating, those kind of, you know, simple, just everyday things. So our food systems is key to, you know, the restoration of balance and health. Okay. And that's what I call, in Aloha, that's what I call a kanaka enhanced ecosystem. So again, kanaka enhanced ecosystem is my definition of what is the relationship of ʻāina. So if we're looking at content that is aloha ʻāina, food systems is a great way to jump in. Okay. And then just wanted to highlight this real fast. Our food systems, one of the ways that it heals the ʻāina is that when we observe things like kapu, which are just seasonal restrictions, we actually, look what we do, guys. Scientific surveys of various locations around Hawaii show that locations under community-based management with customary stewardship, that's kapu, harbor fish mass that is equal to or greater than no-take marine protected areas. What am I saying in Aloha? I'm saying that when we harvest fish, for example, with kapu, which are seasonal restrictions, we're actually increasing populations as we're harvesting at the same time. So that's what I'm saying when like food systems are healing our ecosystems, our people, and our nations, because we're improving the ecosystem as we're growing food or even as we're harvesting. Okay, so that's kind of a trip, and I just want to show us that the aspect of food systems. So that's a good thing we want to incorporate. Okay, and now I'm not only talking about Hawaiian food systems, we're talking about food systems from all over, right? So we even have Turtle Island, yeah, the continent that we might call the American continent, broad as Turtle Island. And so check out Winona. She's a G. She went to Kaho'olawe when the bugger was being bombed. Okay, so she's a strong ally right there. This is a video that we looked at in class, and this is the kind of questions we asked. Yeah, we asked that Winona answered in her video, and we reflected on it. If we're growing our original foods, yeah, grown with minimal energy, we can mitigate what? Climate change, right? Winona said growing original foods is how we reestablish what? With whom? Growing original foods is how we reestablish relationship with our ancestors that have roots. That's our food. Yeah, so Winona's talking about the corn and the rice in her land. So these are like real easy connections. Yeah, guys. How do the Ojibwe in her territories, how do they view manomen, wild rice? How do we view kalo? How do Tangata Maori view peru peru as ancestral foods? Because these are staple starches. Okay, so those kinds of connections, the connections are already there, right? And so all these kinds of things, we can compare Hawaii food systems to another place and what aspects of these food systems are improving the environment, because food systems restore ecosystems. Okay, shoots. Okay, and then so just, you know, more more knowledge from this lineage of Turtle Island, I like this quote: "We are interested in maintaining cycles of generation and cycles of continuous creation." That's the kind of paradigm we're operating from when we're growing our food, right? There are literal and metaphorical instructions based orally from generation to generation, or passed on orally from generation to generation, for how to be a good human being. This is the content we want to embed in our lessons, right, guys? How to be a good human being, living in reciprocity. I'm gonna say reciprocity, it's easier for me to say. Living in reciprocity relation with all of our seen and unseen relatives, yeah? These are natural laws. These are ancestral teachings that are found in all of our lineages on how to be a human, right? What is our stewardship role on this earth? And our life depends on it, no big deal. Okay, so I'm going to gift us some specific mo'olelo, which are histories, some mele, which is our poetry, could be sung and dance, chanted, and even some proverbs. Because all these mo'olelo, mele, and olelo no'ea, these are in celebration of and communion with ʻāina as ancestor, right? So this thing called ecological kinship, for us, that's like common sense, foundational knowledge, right? And environment as ancestors, and this is how we uphold the balance, that perspective and realization. These are all elders. That's what leads to life ways that uphold balance. Okay, shoots. So these are the histories I'm going to gift us with. We're going to take a look at the first one. We'll look at Kumuhonua and Haloa. So this is a picture right here of Wakea. He's the male sky element, and then we have Papa, the female earth element. And again, why are we looking at this in Nahua? Because we're indebted. We're all nourished by earth and sky as humans. So let's take a look. Let's know who our ancestors are. Let's be able to name them. Okay, so first, and I'm going to gift you guys with some olelo right here. Hanai holo o kane o ku o lono ya kumuhonua. That's his name. That's the important guy. He kanaka, he poki'i, no na mea I hana ia. A ua hana ia o kumuhonua mahape iho o ka hana iana o na holo holona. So this is just a small excerpt of the creation of the first human in one creation history, one version. And so Kane Kuen Lono, he made Kumuhonua. Where did he make him? He made them in Mokapu. That's in my district, where the Marine Corps base is. There's a lot of things going on there. So they made Kumuhonua out of that dirt from Mokapu, and he's a younger sibling. So that's a theme, that's an archetype. That's what we want to recognize. We are younger siblings. We come after all of creation, the plants and the animals. That puts us in humility, and that puts us in stewardship, right? We are dependent on all our elders, so it's in our own best interest to steward them because they steward us. Yeah, simple common sense. Okay, also admire this graphic. So I'm totally on Canva Pro right now. I'm in the pro level. So this is another history I'm gifting us with. This is the history of Haloa, another creation history of the very first human. So Kumuhonua was one. We got Haloa going on. Look, we got Wakea, male sky element, Papa, female earth element, their daughter, Ho'ohoku, star element. Even those basic theme archetypes, earth element, sky element, star element, that's universal human. That's in our histories, that's in Turtle Island histories, which is American continent, that's universally human, okay? What is uniquely Hawaiian is this part, okay? So Ho'ohoku, she has a son, his name is Haloa. He was born stillborn. He was actually born with no bones. Oof, away, yeah? In a state called Alu Alu. So he was planted, and where he was planted grew the very first kalo plant. And then Bombay, Ho'ohoku, she's pregnant again. She has another son. He's healthy. He becomes the very first human. And he's also named Haloa for his elder brother. And so the Haloa, the human, he becomes a leader, a healer, and a great guy in his community. And we all descend from him. So we descend from Haloa, the human, and we're all younger siblings to Haloa, the very first kalo. Now let's look at what that puts us. Yeah, that gives us archetypes. Yeah, guys. Earth, sky element, animal and plant life coming before human life. There's a pregnancy theme in a lot of the creation histories, and younger sibling. That's the main thing we want to take away. Yeah, humans as younger siblings indebted to all our elder siblings of life. And then we look at Earth's elder relations. This is kind of a template that we can have the kids fill out. The worldview that we are descendants from Haloa. That means we all have the same source. We're all connected. Land is a chief, man is a servant. Right now, the current paradigm I see America is land is a servant, man is a chief. That's causing a lot of issues, right? So we want to reclaim this role, yeah? Man is a servant, land is a chief. How do I know that? Well, Haloa just told me that, right? Because if Haloa is our elder sibling, we're in service to ʻāina because we come from ʻāina. So what kind of specific applications and practice behaviors do this have? But farming always comes back to food systems, sharing, I know, crazy idea, sharing, right? And stewardship, humility, understanding of our relations. Shout out to Haley, she's an awesome artist. This is a really good picture talk right here. If we're doing comprehensible input picture talk, who is this? This is ho'ohoku. Who is this? Haloa, which Haloa, the first Haloa? What is she doing? Birthing. That kind of stuff. Okay, you guys are doing great. Ooh, another history in Aloha. I know, I'm very proud of this graphic. I gotta copyright this. So this is Kumulipo. This is the creation of everything. This is the birth of all things. This is super profound, one, and super universal. Look at all these animals. These are all animals from everywhere, okay? And the thing I highlight for the kids is firstborn. Can you guys tell? It's the coral. Firstborn is the coral. So that even overlaps with like marine biology, oceanography, like stewardship of coral, sunscreen. I'm really big on the sunscreen thing. So we can connect it to like the PSAs that I was inspired from Kapua's class to do. And so we see, okay, coral is oldest sibling, right? And we made this really great connection from this Tita in the other class. She's from El Salvador. And she said that for her people, the coral is the protector because they have a coastal land and everything depends on the coral there. So they also understand the coral as like the eldest sibling. So I was like, that's super cool. And then we could even, you know, decolonize and liberate the name of El Salvador because that's not an original name, right? Yeah. And I'm forgetting the original name, but those kinds of things. Yeah. Looking at names. Okay. So we have the coral as the eldest sibling. Who's the youngest sibling, guys? Yeah. That's the consistent theme. That's us, right? Right. Even the iole is before us. Okay. Even the pu'a. Yeah, all these things come before us. I know, I'm super proud of this graphic. And guess what? This is the version from Lili'u. Guys, Lili'u translated this when she was under house arrest, imprisoned for treason of what you call committing treason against her own nation when she was actually just overthrown by the people who actually committed that treason, and she's in prison for treason. You guys see what I'm saying about like the deep dive of like the political history? It's always there. We can't ignore it. Like it's always there. So we want to incorporate this kind of stuff. Yeah. Kumulipo, Lili'u translated this while she was in prison for committing treason against her own nation. Yeah, it's just a crazy thing. Okay, but anyway, so that's the Kumulipo, the birth of all things. Even the drum precedes the humans. Yeah, how's that one? Yeah, and he has a name too. You gotta go find it. You gotta go find it on your own. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go Turtle Island in Aloha, yeah, because we're gonna connect it. We're not just Aloha ʻāina oni or ʻāina, all ʻāina. Yeah, so this is the history of the creation of Turtle Island, what we might think is the American continent. So this is Sky Woman. She comes from the sky. There, so Sky Woman's in the sky. There's no earth. There's only ocean. I'm gonna break it down for us. This is the version I got from Robin right here, Braiding Sweetgrass. Hit up that book. Okay, so Sky Woman's in the sky. She wants to make tea from the tree of life. So she digs up the tree of life. I know, metaphorical and literal. She digs up the tree of life. She creates a hole in the sky. She falls through the hole because she's trying to make the tea. As she falls through the hole, she's like grabbing random stuff because she's falling. By the way, she's pregnant. So you got this pregnant wahine falling down from the sky. A flock of geese see her and they say, there's this pregnant lady falling. We better help her. So immediately you see a helpless human, or maybe she could be a divine element kind of status. And then you see the animals taking pity on her and coming to her aid because she needs them, because otherwise she's going to crash land in the ocean, all pregnant action. So the geese catch her, but she's too heavy. So Turtle, this is Turtle. Turtle says, you can land on my back. They land on Turtle's back and all the animals are like, whoa, check out this human. She's like fully pregnant and she like fell from the sky and she has no home. So the animals get together and they say, let's help her. She's in need. She's helpless. Let's be of service. So the animals come up with the idea. They say, let's dive to the bottom of the ocean and grab the mud that's at the bottom of the ocean. And she can use that to make her ʻāina. So each of the animals volunteer, and that's cool because you have all the Turtle Island animals. Like, where's the Turtle Island animals? Like you got the kind, oh look, otter, beaver, sturgeon, they all swim, but they all drown. So they're all sacrificing their life for Sky Woman. They're trying to save her, grab some mud for her, they all drown. And then finally, little muskrat, this is muskrat, little muskrat says, I'll go dive to the bottom of the ocean to grab mud for Sky Woman so she can have ʻāina, so she can live. And then they go, brah, you're like such a junk swimmer. You're so small. You can't even dive. And Muskrat says, brah, I'm gonna do him anyway. So Muskrat goes, he dives, and then eventually they see his floating body, and Muskrat, he died. He drowned. Yeah, he's just this floating body, and all the animals go, oh, there's Muskrat. He died. We knew he couldn't do it. And then they notice in his fist has a clump of mud, and that's the mud they needed to give Sky Woman so she can make ʻāina. So they grab the mud from Muskrat, and then they give it to Sky Woman, and Sky Woman starts to put the mud on Turtle's back. She's so moved by the sacrifice that all of creation is conspiring to help her give her a home that she starts to dance and sing. Her song and dance is a song and dance of gratitude. I'm gonna bust out for you guys the kind, the quote. Okay. Where we stay. Right here. Sky Woman bent and spread the mud with her hands across the shell of Turtle. Moved by the extraordinary gifts of the animals, she sang in thanksgiving and began to dance, her feet caressing the earth. The land grew and grew as she danced her thanks. Danced her what? Danced her thanks. From the dab of mud on Turtle's back until the whole earth was made. Not by Sky Woman alone. By Sky Woman alone? No, not by Sky Woman alone. Yeah, but from the alchemy of all the animals' gifts, coupled with what, Enahua? Coupled with her deep gratitude. Yeah, they just was in service for her. How many of them gave their life? Yeah, together they formed what we know as Turtle Island, our home. And then as Sky Woman was falling from the sky, she was grabbing all kind of random seeds and berries. So she throws them. Yeah, she throws them and she seeds all these things that she grabbed from the sky. And that's all the plants. Yeah, that ends up growing on Turtle Island. So it says she scattered onto the new ground, carefully tended each one until the world turned from brown to green. Okay, and now the animals too had plenty to eat, and they came to live with her on Turtle Island. Yeah, so as a guest, she actually took those seeds and berries that she grabbed from the sky. She scattered them around, and then she's cultivating ʻāina. What are the themes we see, guys? Cultivation of ʻāina, gratitude, and now the animals come joining her on Turtle Island, right? So these are all archetypes. These are all common universal themes that are embedded in our histories and metaphorical language that are directions for us. Stewardship, gratitude, understanding as younger sibling. Pregnancy is also a theme. Animals helping us as humans. That's what animals do. They help us be humans. That's why we live with animals, kind of deal, right? And so I like this part in Nahua. Children hearing the Sky Woman history from birth know in their bones the what? The entitlement? No, the responsibility that flows between humans and earth. Yeah, so that's the kind of things, the epic kind of deep dives we can take with our creation histories. This is just an example of a template I use. So you got the main character breakdown, archetype, main theme breakdown, identity worldview, and then applicable practices and behaviors, food system, sharing, that kind of stuff. So we got Haloa history, Kumulipo history, and then even Sky Woman, Turtle Island, and you can do a summary. That's the kind of template I like to use. And then it all comes down to the me versus the we. Yeah, individualistic, collective, that kind of contributory, reciprocal kind of thing. Okay, you guys are doing great. What's the time? 12:15, okay, shoots. Okay, this is the kind of like themes I like to show the kids and compare. So you got the histories of Kumulipo and Haloa, and you have the confused theories of Darwin, right? So we have seeing ʻāina as kupuna versus just inanimate life. How can life be inanimate? That's like an oxymoron right there, right? So you see like relation versus separation, competition versus being contributory, right? Separation versus being interrelated. These are the kind of things we want to realize so we can intentionally choose. Okay, shoots. Okay, I'm gonna gift us with a song. This is just a simple, I just want to mention this, we have a song for water, Hemele no Kane. This is important since we got jet fuel issues, right? And so these are things like, if in Hawaii, we have a song celebrating all the places where we can find water. One, what are we currently listening to on the radio? What's going on there? And two, when we sing for the water, we're acknowledging there's water here, there's water here, there's water here. That, that allows us to be experts of our environment, which allows us to be stewards and like, okay, there's water in all these places. Are we stewarding them? Okay, how can we, right? And this is a super I think this is a very applicable mele to all classes, just like how Kumu Kevin translated a chant e homai. Okay, this is what the breakdown of the water. There's six verses. There's water in the east, there's water in the west, there's water in the uplands, there's water in the ocean, there's water above, clouds, atmosphere, there's water below. You can do that in any kind of language. Okay, so that's cool. That's the water song. Okay, you also get one chant for enter the forest. That's kind of cool to look at. Yeah, any language. It's like even this thing, asking permission. Crazy. I know. That's something we want to be like, yo, guys, we're supposed to be asking permission all these places we go. So again, you can do it in any language. And the biggest thing is the intent. When you go to the forest, when you go to the ocean, are we announcing ourselves first? Are we announcing to the ecosystem who are really relations that we're entering and what's our intentions and how we're going to enter in a good way, that kind of thing? I don't know, something we can start to do again. Okay, this is the kind of questions I ask the kids. How are we showing reverence? You know, like watching where we step, that kind of stuff. Don't take stuff. Who are we showing reverence to? Laka. She's a force deity, force element. Why are we showing reverence to Laka? Well, because our health depends on the health of the forest. Why? Bro, go back to the water song. Okay. How are we stewards of Laka? Because in the I like this poetry because it says Laka cultivates her stewards. It is indeed us. It is indeed us. Bro, stewardship right there. Yeah. E ho'oulu mai ana o Laka I kona mau kahu. I do hand motions. Kahu. O mako no, o mako no, o mako no. Yeah. These are the kind of things we want to seed for, you know, restoration of the balances of life. Proverbs are super universal. Okay. This is a proverb I like to do with the Aloha history. Land is a chief, human is a servant. He ali I ka ʻāina, he kaua ke kanaka. Tattoo it on your forehead, bruh. That's the antidote to all that plagues us. Ooh, and we can even do tourism education. I like how Kapua's kids are doing that tourist education because we need that. Okay. Ho'okahila o ka malihini. You only here as a malihini one day. After that, you are expected to join in the work. Go back to the work days slide, right? That kind of stuff. That's why I think I'm gonna have the kids do the PSA. I think that's important. Okay, so what kind of lessons we can do in Aloha? Histories of place. You can do the kumulipo. You can simplify it, super simplify it. You know, even like just maybe even not even looking at the text yet, be like, this is a song asking for permission. Simple concept like that. Current issues or histories of the specific place. Shout out to Kumu Kevin again. He found a history of Waipahu. He translated it into Spanish, talking about the chief and the spear throwing contest, and whoever won the contest got to marry the chief. Bro, that's interesting. And that's ownership of place. That's belonging to place. That's what we're creating. Yeah, we're reestablishing that relationship of belonging to place, which is elder ancestor. Current issues, but I don't like when people say, oh, environmental issue. Why? Only some people drink water, right? That's like so crazy. So things like the jet fuel, bones being dug up. I know they're kind of deep dives, but that's what's going on. We're under violent occupation, bro. We can look at Aloha ʻāina history. Shout out to Diana Cristina. She's looking at Hokule'a in Spanish class. She's looking at maybe Duka Hanamoku, no, Eddie Aikau Spanish class, yeah. All Koho'olave, bro. Talk about Koho'olave in Aloha. That's big right there. Okay, then you can go back to the mundane world, cooking. Yeah, or place names. That's a really low-hanging fruit to the place name. And you can go a little bit deeper, wind, water, rain, mountain names, or political history. That's a deep dive right there, political history. Proverbs, song, poetry, all universal. Games, you can do games. And then just observing environmental patterns, like how's the sun? Like just simple things like that. And maybe even start growing things like how's the plant doing every day kind of thing. And then, you know, we shared some histories of Turtle Island, got beans, corn, squash, rice, because farming and fishing, wow, that's universal. Okay, and you know, any class you can do a history of the land. Any class you can do a proverb, song, and poetry. This is the kumulipo. This is an illustration of the kumulipo, all the different phases of creation. This is like from Zimbabwe. I think one tita did Zimbabwe, and she said like this was their version of how, you know, how creation unfolded. So you definitely got like the snake element. You got the cow action going on. So these are things that, you know, remind us our role as humans ultimately. So that's the Zimbabwe right there. Okay, and we still got muskrat. I know you guys remember muskrat. Okay, someone in you know, Kapua's presentation, they're talking about maps. People were like, oh, we need maps. Bruh, use the maps. Know our real names and the boundaries and where we stay. Bruh, you know, stay in the North Shore. you either stay ko'olaloa or waialoa or waialua, or maybe you stay pupukia, but let's be accurate. Yeah, guys, let's be accurate. Yeah. So even like things like if we're at Moanalua High School, for example, what does that mean? What is the boundary? What moku we stay in? All that kind of stuff. Yeah. Simple stuff like that. Okay. So now I did some examples. Spanish class, do the Turtle Island, do Sky Woman, do the staple food. Food our ancestors, right? They're the ancestors with roots. Do the corn, bean, squash, rice. I love to incorporate pateles stew in all I do. So, do pateles stew for Spanish class. Did you guys know that pateles stew is only in Hawaii? Okay, that's like blow my mind right there. Yeah, no more pateles stew in Borican in Puerto Rico, only in Hawaii. So you know how Hawaii has all these like unique foods that are only found here, that are like a fusion of like Chinese, whatever other cultures that are contributing. Do the foods that are only found here in your language class. Do the manapua in Mandarin class. I don't know, just saying, could be cool. Okay, and then again, follow suit Kumu Kevin. He found the history of Waipahu. Find the histories of where you stayed at. Yeah, that means you have to make relationships. Yeah, that means you have to consult with our people, ultimately. Mandarin class, do the plantation worker protests when the Bulgars was trying to overthrow Lili'u. Do them. Japanese class, the Japanese went protest U.S. Military invasion of Hawaii. Celebrate that right now. Yeah, Hawaii-Japanese connection from before. Kalakaua tried to marry Ka'iulani to the one Japanese guy she never liked. But I'm just saying, the relationship for how long already? Okay. Any class, guys, any class. Kumulipo halo, I can do pele action. Yes, it will take some research. Yes, you can simplify it. But if you're in Pu'uloa area, yeah, the real name of Pearl Harbor, do Ka'ahu Pa'au. He's from that area. He's the shark of that area, bro. And then, I'm on the sunscreen too. Go back to the coral. Yeah, we need the coral. Gotta make sure we have good sunscreen. Do those kinds of things with the kids, because guys, we're indebted, bro. Oh yeah, and grow something. That's a good thing to observe. Okay, we almost pau. I know you guys maybe have questions. Okay, so basically, this is just a quick look at what some of our ha'awina, some of our content could look like in terms of aloha ʻāina and ka'ike mano mano a ka Hawaii. Yeah, the multitudinous knowledge of the Hawaiians. Yeah, we use them. Yeah, use them. It's your responsibility. I just let you know. Now you know. You can't claim like you never know. Okay. So basically, these are the pillars. Yeah. Ancestral life ways, value system, knowledge, and practices. No hona kupuna, loina kupuna, ike kupuna, and hana kupuna. This is the stuff we're seeding. Yeah. And this is my big picture, guys. We want to use tools of oppression. English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese, oppression. Those are languages that have colonized other languages, right? And so we want to use that as medicine, bro. Use that, brew that medicine to liberate what? Liberate for the reestablishment of what was oppressed, right? So if Spanish was suppressing the history of Sky Woman, bro, use Spanish to teach the history of Sky Woman right there. The Baga was nearly exterminated. This is our small way of addressing big things. Colonial violent imperialism, bro. Como Kevin knows, yeah. So let's use these tools to turn it back on it, bro. Be like, no, I'm gonna liberate the people that you wouldn't try to oppress with the same tool. You wouldn't try to oppress them with. Oh, how's that? Right? How's that? The same like when we use English to liberate, our own ancestral life ways, Hawaiian life ways. Okay, because basically in Aloha, we paying homage, we paying homage to our place because we remembering and we will reclaim our role as Kanaka, to uphold the cycles of life. By what? Following original instructions. Where these instructions stay? In ancestral life ways. All of our ancestral life ways, of all ʻāina. It's found in all histories, universally human. So let's reclaim all our ancestors, bro. The lands we come from genetically and the lands we stay in. Keshits. Mahalo nui. Now we get time for questions if you guys have any questions. And I'm proud of all my graphics. We're gonna admire graphics. Okay.
Wow, okay. Not disappointed at all, as usual. What an unreal presentation. Please, Nino Ahu, if you guys have any questions, please unmute yourself. And then I noticed that the Mr. Profe Sledge has entered our room as well. So we was talking about you too, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
So sorry that I came in late. Yeah. Hey, quick question. Will you be providing this presentation?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And quick shout out to Kumu Kevin. Mahalo for all you do and all your allyship with our people. It takes work, guys. It takes initiative to do research. Find mo'olelo. Go find them. I just told you it's your responsibility.
this is your opportunity, everybody. Anybody have any comments or questions for Kapūkākī?
Show you guys the work days if you guys like, engage in the work. Or if you're integrating, that's cool too.
I think for me, one thing I wanted to comment on that I was like really blown away by, like besides the concepts, which are like amazing, right, that we talk about all the time, was the fact that you created a lot of visuals for things that are like very serious and like things that are very deep, like the kumulipo, for example, and you make something that's super simple like to look at. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. Like I need that in my life so that I can show this to my haumana. So mahalo, mahalo nui, no kauhana nui, mahalo.
Mahalo nui e kapua. Yeah, and I'm happy to like consult or work with anyone here because we all come here with similar, we're all kind of on the same page. So I feel like I can share you the what you call the visuals. Mahalo, Jamie. Mahalo. Yeah.
I have a question. Sorry. Thank you so much for your presentation, by the way. So my question was, when you're doing this with kids, you're doing it all in the target language, or are you sharing some of it in Hawaiian as well?
Yeah. So yeah, my goal is always to be in the target language. And so sometimes things will be prefaced in English and then we'll do it in Hawaiian, and then it's really simplified. And then after, I'll always clarify it in English, and like they'll like maybe translate for me things that I want to make sure they're understanding in English. But yeah, this is all target language status in terms of like the content. If we're looking at history, when we're talking about like things like colonization and stuff, that's in English, right? But like the actual content, like whether it's a song or a poetry or a history, all those kind of stuff are in target language.
Okay, fantastic. And I came in just a couple minutes late, but you're teaching in Hawaiian, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking like in terms of if I'm a Spanish teacher, I'm like, okay, so I wanna teach it in Spanish in the target language, but also I want to share, the Hawaiian language in it as well, and make sure there's comprehension all the way. So I'm thinking about the blend of all three languages.
You know what just came to me right now? Hola. You know what I mean? So if you say hola in Spanish and then you look like what hola is in Hawaiian, I don't know. There could be a connection there. I don't know if you feel moved towards that. The kind of thing that some of the more profound stuff I will explain in English. So when we greet each other in Hawaiian, if we say like aloha mai kako to two or more people, or aloha mai kaua to one person, I share with the kids that the reason why we're saying the word aloha, right? Aloha is because we're acknowledging our interdependent relationship, because I'm speaking love onto you, because I give a shit about you. Because if I didn't, I would tell you, hi, how you doing, kind of thing. So just the greeting concept, I will explain in English. I will explain why we're doing it and how it's acknowledging the relationship. Even the words like kaua and kako, that's a unified field, right? There's no word for kako in English. Kako means everyone, excluding no one kind of deal, right? So that concept of what is kako, the concept of what is kaua, if I'm greeting kahialani, kaua, I'm saying you and I, that's one concept, it's one word. So the fact that we're acknowledging our unity like as one unified field, and we're speaking love unto each other, one that's applicably universal, we can be talking about that. Like when we greet like that, that comes from an understanding of each other as relations kind of deal. So just those kinds of like simple greetings, that could be a start.
Thank you so much.
Yes, mahalo, mahalo nui, Natalie.
Kapūkākī. Thank you for speaking love on all of us, girl. Okay, everybody. Hoping you're enjoying the day, and just, what a great way to end the sessions with this wonderful wahine. And I really want to thank you for joining us. And I'm gonna also invite you if you want to just move on a conversation. And I don't know, ʻāina hikipahi ʻaʻoi ke hele i ka Wonder Room. Yeah, so you can further your discussions with people. And if you've never been in the Wonder Room, it's kind of trippy. It's kind of cool, actually. You just go to this site, and then it's kind of like this, but you're going to be actually interconnected with each other, and you can just talk story with each other. You can go language, you can go wherever, just go travel. But before you do that, go bring something to eat. Yeah. So go in your refrigerator, find some food, and then join us in the Wonder Room. And right after the Wonder Room, don't forget to come back, because if you really truly liked Azama Sensei's beginning today, you know, and somebody was saying also that he really is usually that really super vibrant, fast guy, but he just kind of slowed it down and gave us kind of like a mindful beginning. It would be great for you to come back after lunch or after meeting people in the Wonder Room, and he's going to be doing a keynote workshop too. So I want to mahalo everybody for coming today, and to continue on our journey in the Wonder Room, and then also back in the main room with Azama Sensei. Okay, mahalo nui ya oko pakahia pau.
Mahalo kahialani.
Mahalo ya oe e po mai. Oh, he wahine kupa ya naha oe.
Mahalo nui, mahalo nui. Kako, kako.
Maraming salamat. I really enjoyed it.
Mahalo Imelda, mahalo nui.
I can't wait to translate it.